So all ready for our dive into chapter 6. Yesterday, many of you all were telling, not many, but at least few said that you wanted to know meditation, yoga and all. So today we will learn completely principles of yoga. So now those who don't want to learn yoga and not interested in yoga, please pay attention, because at least we will learn not to do some yogas, right? So before we start our journey, as usual, let's start off with our Mangalacharan. Right? Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimurandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yela Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopeku Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyacha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today let's dive into our Dhyana Yoga. So first I thought I'll put this as the picture behind, but then I felt, okay, my God, this is a little too scary to start the day with, right? So I will hold on till the session starts, right? So now we are all set to go. So before we start, I just have one request. We have, our new batch starting from December, and registrations are open. I request you all to forward it in all groups, friends, relatives, association groups, wherever possible, because the best, charity we can do is giving knowledge. By that way, we don't lose. And can I'll be very happy, and it will be a great help if you can all forward this to whomever you all know. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna and Dhyana Yoga. So what is Dhyana Yoga, right? So all of us are familiar with the yogas, right? So let's see what is yoga. So this is one type of yoga. I'm just quickly taking you all to the various processes of yoga. Right? So this is another yoga where they will bury their head, like this. So, these are different types of yoga systems which are existing. So is this yoga, right? So this is called beer yoga. This is a modern technique. It's a very hilarious yoga, right? So what is yoga? So a definition of yoga here, as per the magazines, are for physical and mental health, for pregnancy, okay? And yoga now is so advanced that yoga has become yoga in chair. So, and now can you see the first picture? Can anyone guess, what picture is this? The first picture, chat is open. Hare Krishna. Whose picture is it? Hare Krishna. Yes, perfect. So this is, none but Hiranyakashipu, and he devised his own yoga system. Just like how today, a lot of them are devising their own systems. He devised his own yoga system so much that, it like sort of choked and shocked even people like Brahma and Brahmaloka, and they came over there to offer him benedictions. So now we have advancements like back care, yoga for welfare, and yoga, office yoga, a lot of things actually. So what is Ashtanga Yoga? Let's actually see what exactly yoga means. Yoga actually means connecting the us to God, right? So whatever pictures you all saw, you all have to tell me where we connected to God. So today we are trying to actually see the real meaning of yoga and how we can implement it for all those who are keen to implement. So Ashtanga Yoga is only Ashtanga Yoga, which means limbs, right? Ashta means 8, Anga means limbed, and yoga means connection. Connection with who? With Lord. So what are the 8 limbs? It starts with Yama. Okay, Yama, Niyama, Ashana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. In this, I think pranayama is something people will be very familiar with, right? And today, all yogas are starting with asana. What does asana means? Posture. But before you start anything, for example, when you go to school, right? What is it you're supposed to do? You're actually supposed to at least, take a pen and a pencil. Forget about books or anything, but at least a pen and a pencil, right? Will you just go and sit in a posture without keeping anything? So what is happening is now you will tell, yes, I do, and I borrow a pen and a pencil. So still you do the borrowing. So you are taking an access of a pen and a pencil. Same way, Yama and Niyama are the basic disciplines. Yama is external discipline and Niyama is the internal discipline. Let's see in length each of this, and then, we will come back. So Yama, this is what I told, and I will tell in short. Asanas, you all know, it's posture. Pranayama is about breath control. Pratyahara means you withdrawal of all the senses. Dharana is concentration. That's the main purpose you do, right? Any meditation is, you will also just keep focusing on nothing these days. So, and dhyana is, you keep, one is the first, dhyana is like concentration where they keep telling you focus on something. And the other one is dhyana is, all of you again will be familiar. It's like meditatively observing whatever is around, right? And samadhi is finally, getting into the trance state. So here, what does it say? In Yama, 6.10, these are the various detailed processes which have been actually, made in short for you. But please go back and read the purport for details. What does it say in 6.10 about Yama is he should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. Niyama is spoken in 6.17, where the temperate in his habits, that he has to control a lot of things, right? Eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. In fact, this is also mentioned in Nectar of Instruction. The first way, shloka is that only. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jigva vegam, udaro prashta vegam. So what does it say? All these various senses. There are 6 urges in the body, right? Which is basically your tongue, your mind, your belly, your genitals. All this you have to control, right? That is the niyama, which means basically everything to do with your own habits, right? So you basically take control and check on that. So asana, is asana so simple, like, we saw yoga in chair and all that? No. They say you should lay in kusaglas, right? Why do they talk specifically in kusaglas? Let's see one after the other, and cover it with deer skin. Now, deer skin has a significance that all this, when they say they do in a secluded place, the, that possibility of a lot of insects will be there. So a deer skin is supposed to be a repellent, against snakes and scorpions and all that. So the seat obviously should neither be too high or low to keep, because you're going to be for hours together, and should be situated in a sacred place, right? So that, you don't get, it's more pleasant for you to focus on things. One should hold the body, neck, and head erect in a straight line. So this is one thing which even we all have to sit, right? And stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Just notice you'll be staring. Just try it out. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me. So Krishna, remember, where did this start? He spoke about 2 things, which is correct, renunciation, or whether renunciation of work or renunciation of fruits. He said both ultimately reach me, right? However, renunciating the fruits are easier. So now for all of us, all of them, I would say, because I'm not very keen to do Ashtanga Yoga, who want to do, the other side, Krishna is giving that option also. So now pranayama 5.29, practice, it's mentioned here, where practice stopping the movement of outgoing breath, incoming breath, and, basically trying to hold the breath inside, right? And then go into trance. That's a step. 6.15 talks about pratyahara, cessation of material existence. Dharana disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in trance, right? Devoid of all material desires, he's said to have attained yoga. So in Pratyahara, what happens is a prerequisite, right? You already stop doing a lot of things. And during Dharana, what happens? Mentally also, you start controlling all of that and completely you're at a zero state of material desire. Now, what is Dhyana? 6.19, he says, as a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist, whose mind is controlled, remains always steady in his meditation on transcendent self. So basically we see the lamp, right? So a particular lamp, when there is no wind, see that it doesn't shake. Normally the lamp, the light, diya of the lamp, that keeps shaking, right? The thing, but in this case, that is how the mind should be, right? It should be so steady and focused. So that is what they are saying. And between Samadhi is a final stage where it's 20 to 23. One is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty, right? No matter what happens, right? Nothing should disturb him. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. See, if nothing disturbs you, even for us, you think if your teacher is going to tell you useless, right? What impact it has? These days, we have very little impact. But if the parents tell, we still, that little, we may react outside differently, but inside, the blood is boiling. Yes or no? Right? Inside, it has an impact. Now, if that moves to your friend, right? Come on, all of you, actively messages in the chat. That only motivates me. Thank you so much, Anushree. Hare Krishna. Now, if a friend comes and tells me, I'm very disappointed with you, just not a friend. Oh my God, it like haunts us for about 2 days, 3 days, right? Until she comes and patches up with her. Thanks, Amir. So what is happening, right? All this, Tanya, the whole impact becomes very risky as we actually go ahead and take the impact depending on the level of closeness. So this is what is very important in Samadhi. Just imagine you don't react at all. Now you will come back and tell me, oh ma'am, Mataji, this is no life at all, right? There is absolutely no energy, no life. What is the point? That's a different story. Now, for all those who chose, now this is what it is. Now I have given you a very quick glimpse of yoga. Are you willing to do this yoga system or take a try? How many of you all want to do? You can put yes in the chat. If you don't want, you can put no. And all those yesterday who said, yes, we would like to try, you can change your answer. Okay. Do you like to do the yoga now? You can start now. Do you want to try all this yoga system? Oh, thanks, Neetu, for no. Okay, Ashwant, still you want to do all this yoga system? Go to a forest, completely stay away. Okay, thanks, Shrikant. No, Diya, you still want to try? Okay, it's not wrong. The answer is not yes or no is not an answer. It's just what you want to try, right? Because for somebody like me, I'm not very keen, to give away a lot of things. Maybe it's a great idea to do it for a day, but if you have to do it for life, thanks, Diya, for rechanging your answer. It's so difficult. See, first of all, giving up something, 3 days ago, one devotee asked, what are all the things I should give up? What is the limit? What is my outer limit of my enjoyment, right? That is Bhakti Yoga. Now you will tell, okay, I'm doing Bhakti Yoga. How will I do this? So the difference is this Ashtanga Yoga is built in Bhakti Yoga. When you do Bhakti Yoga, let me just for a small example, I'll tell you, even the breathing, right? When you're actually trying to do the japa, you don't tell Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You don't do that, right? You say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you notice and closely observe, you completely finish that line, you hold your breath unknowingly. And actually, if you see, as you keep chanting, your number of times, you keep doing, or rather you keep holding the breath becomes even more, for more number of chanting, you will hold your breath. This comes as a habit, right? You don't consciously do. Same way, so what is happening? Your pranayama is already inbuilt. Though the purpose of chanting is not pranayama and we want to go closer to Krishna, and also that your focus is actually talking about your own heart, right? So, you want to develop Krishna conscious, and Krishna is literally taking a broomstick and cleaning your heart. In spite of all that, what is actually happening and what is the most important thing which is happening is none at the end of the day are going to really worry about, the process, but end of the day, we're all concerned about, what we get, right? See, anyone, when you get marks, people will want to ask you how much you got, how did you study? But really, they don't care whether you did studies at 3 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon or night, right? It's the result matters, right? So here the result is to reach Krishna conscious. So whether to do this way or that way doesn't matter. Our objective is to reach there. And when you focus on, bhakti, it becomes so easy because Krishna is now involved in helping you directly, right? Because you're surrendering, like how a child in the house will surrender, like that you're telling, oh Krishna, you help me. And there is no purification advance required. So let's see what is the differences subsequently at the end, but now let's move on, right? What is the challenges? So what did he do, right? Why Arjuna? Arjuna is also there. Somebody like Arjuna who's so talented and who's been there, he, after hearing this, says, oh my Krishna, forget it, there is no, because you have to understand what Arjuna is, right? At this young age, he was able to catch not just the bird, but he could target the eye of the bird, right? And second is, you also saw in Draupadi's thing where he saw the water and, he could shoot the bow at the eye of the lizard with the mirror image. And all this, you have seen in his Gurukul. Now, he even fought against Shiva and Shiva was so happy with him. Now, so these are the various points, right? And they were very good students actually. And there are so many things about him. So let's hear what is more about it, right? 6.34, what does it say? Hare Krishna. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balabhadridham tasyaham nigarham manye vayor iva sudushkaram. Hare Krishna. So he says, for the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate and very strong. Oh Kannaya, oh Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. So do you all agree one thing, that Arjuna is a better person than us? Do you all agree that Arjuna is better in terms of intelligence, in terms of knowledge, or someone feels that you can beat Arjuna? No, so okay, you're convinced. So for somebody like, like Arjuna, he's telling to Krishna, Krishna, forget it, I just can't control, I can even control the wind. Because he did have the power, because that is why he's called Gudakesha also. If you see, he can control sleep. There are some very USP qualities of Arjuna. One, he could control sleep, which indirectly meant ignorance. He actually could fight in both the hands, right? So that was another specialty of Arjuna. Same time, it's also called Sabyasachi, an expert where he could do in both hands. I can't even write in both hands. Forget writing, I can't even scribble at the same time in both hands. So if I have exceptions here, that's great. Please don't tell I can write in left hand. If you're a left-hander, I mean both hands, okay, at the same time. Okay, I can't even do it separately. So, then for somebody like Arjuna is telling, oh, I can control the wind, but not my mind. So I'm giving up. Right? So Krishna always gives choices, right? There are some people who always like to take the hard road to destiny, right? So he's just trying to tell, tomorrow after reading Bhagavad Gita, there should be someone who says that, how can you judge Krishna? I can do Ashtanga Yoga. So he's telling, no problem. You're most welcome. So I'll tell you how to practice Ashtanga Yoga. Not only he did that, he also set an example by, I told you the story of Bharata Maharaj. His father is Rishabdev, right? Rishabdev is none but an incarnation of Krishna who actually lived as a king, and he also did a lot of these yogas and led up example for this concept. So what does it say now? Hare Krishna, you all can read.
Hare Krishna. The blessed Lord said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by the constant practice and by detachment. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by right means is assured of success. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is he saying? Still, though Krishna agrees, he says, it is difficult. See, Krishna is such a great teacher, right? He doesn't say, hey, it's so easy. Come on, do it. No, he says, yes. Arjuna, I agree with you. It is very difficult, right? But it is not impossible. It is possible. How? By constantly practicing and detachment. Though Krishna is not keen in Arjuna practicing, this is the beauty in a good teacher. A good teacher, and this is a learning for all of you, where you should understand a good teacher never tries to put down a student. And most of the time, I have noticed a lot of people around tell us, just not possible, huh? For you, forget it. You just can't do it only. Have you heard it? This is like a mantra which I have heard umpty number of times. Anyone joining me, have you heard this? This is like rings. The moment you tell something, it just ruled out here. Forget it. You can't do it. You can't just do it, huh? So this is a statement I hear, and this just bores me. And every time when someone says it, I get so, maybe I can't, but then, that kills the very motive of us to even try something, right? And also gives a complete feeling that, you're a failure model. So how is Krishna motivating, right? Yes, I agree with you. It's difficult. He doesn't even say that, oh, it's so easy. No, he's very honest. He says it's very difficult, but it's not impossible, right? So for all of you listening here also, Ashtanga Yoga sounds impossible. It's not impossible. It's difficult. So a sensible person like us, where we don't have time anyway, and also we don't want to give up a lot of this, right? We don't want to get detached with a lot of things. We want to enjoy also, na? So therefore we will not get into this practice, but we will understand, okay? Because it's in Bhagavad Gita and Krishna has told, so let's understand, right? So then only we'll find the journey. So now this is the next question. Is your mind a friend or an enemy? This was the first question which all of you answered, and you can still type in the answer, right? Whether your mind is a friend or enemy. Actually speaking, 2 lines. A controlled mind is a friend. An uncontrolled mind is an enemy. So if your answer is sometimes, it cannot be sometimes. It's either now currently what it is, right? Because you have a friend, cannot be, as I told last time, cannot have a friend in the morning, and that friend cannot be an enemy. You may fight, but that person cannot be. See, look at this. This is a friend in the left and enemy in the right. So you cannot name one person as, okay, friend, okay, enemy, okay, friend, okay, enemy. Shrikant, I'm so happy if your mind is a friend. But what is actually happening for most of us is, or for all of us, the mind is an enemy, because the mind is not listening to us. We are listening to the mind. To a large extent, I'm happy that all of you all here, to an extent, you have, are trying to befriend it, because that's how you're sitting in this at 6 a.m. and trying to listen, right? While your mind would have told all of you, Chodo, why you have to get up at 5:30? Let me just have a 1 hour of sleep. Mind keeps talking so much, right? Whereas, Anushri, you're right. Currently, we are all in a situation of having it as an enemy. Currently, when you start controlling it, then it will become friend. And Divya, as you're telling both, we wish to have it both, but actually at the same time, our mind cannot be a friend or this. The moment it is sometimes, it means that the mind is actually an enemy trying to behave like a friend. You will have sometimes, an enemy of yours who tries to be very sweet to you, but end of the day, it will try to push you in a ditch. I'm sure, we'll have some joking characters like this in our college, in our lives, in our family, among relatives mainly. Yes or no? They will appear to be so friendly with us, and they will be waiting when to dig a pit for us, right? So mind is currently like that. It is our enemy, or it sometimes pretends to be our friend because it's just waiting to pull us down, right? Okay. No, I want to listen to Bhagavad Gita. Okay. No problem. Listen, because you're so strong, right? It has to fight. You're right. You have to listen to Bhagavad Gita. Okay, after 18 days course, what do? There is advanced course. You want to join? Hey, no, don't do advanced. Okay, you're studying now. You're too young. You need to know the basics. Now the mind will take control, right? So slowly it will try to take control. That's what mind is doing. Hare Krishna, 6.6.
For him who hath conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. Hare Krishna.
Is very clearly told, thank you, Hare Krishna, that mind is the best friend if you have conquered the mind. But are we genuinely conquered the mind completely? Little bit, if you start observing, maybe make a note of today from morning, yes, you conquered for Bhagavad Gita, but the whole day, just observe, you will start feeling, oh my God, my mind is an enemy and it's pretending to be a friend. You can manage a friend, you can manage an enemy. And you know who's most difficult in life to manage? A friendly enemy. So difficult. I just don't know how to handle them at all. Huh? Trust me, because it's so confusing. So at times, so much that I sometimes land up telling, I'm so scared of human beings because animals don't act. Have you all seen that? Have you ever seen an acting animal? Any of your animals? And today we will have an animal show at the end, right? So do you have any animal? Have you ever seen acting? Has a snake ever come and sweetly smiled at you and then did? No. So we only have this intelligence to do all this, right? So that's why sometimes, many people tell I'm scared of human beings, which is very true in a large extent, right? So what is the destination of someone who fails in achieving success in yoga. So let's have this, right? So we are all talking about having yoga, right? Okay, somebody is trying yoga. See, we cannot insult the person because Krishna is telling it's very hard. So what happens if someone actually tries yoga and fails? Now, let me give an example of bank balance, right? You are now, forget bank balance. Now you are in a job. Now you're leaving the job and going into another business. You know, whatever you've saved, you go there. And if you fail in the business, what happens? All your bank balance is gone. Your job is gone. You can't go back and pick the job. Either you have self-esteem doesn't permit you, or the previous boss doesn't want you back either. And your business is anyway a point, right? Completely gone, right? So yes, Mihir, thank you. 20% you can control max too. I'm glad, 20%, but for some of us, 2% it would be the number. So overall, 80% dominating figure. And Guru Nisha, Devi Dasi. Oh, acha, we've got some Dasis also here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Dasis also. So that's a great point. And yes, that's fine. So what is happening? So in case of the human life, this is going to be tough, right? We will just we'll become a pauper. And you'd have seen a lot of examples, right? Such rich people coming on floor and all that. Oh my God, then you're telling 2 roads are there. One is Bhakti. Okay, fine. Ashtanga Yoga also fine. Whatever said and done, I'll follow one, but what if I fail? What if I fail? That's a constant fear, right? And Krishna is telling Suchiman Srimata. Suchiman means born in a transcendental family. And Srimata means born in a rich family. So what is he saying? You can be, 6.41 talks about Srimatan, which means that you will be born in among the demigods or among the righteously good aristocratic family. Maybe like a Kshatriya or a Vaishya, where you do not need to beg for food and, daily living. Or you will be born in a transcendental family, where your wisdom is very natural. Example of Prabhupada, where at the age of 5, he was so, even small child, he was so impressed, and his parents, his father gave him, a small, doll Krishna. So now, I want to ask you one straight question. Now, all of us, do you feel one thing? We will fit in one of this category, and majority of us will fit in 6.41. Yes or no? So whatever you all are telling this time, I decided I will come to Bhagavad Gita classes too, but your credit is actually from the previous birth. Example, you have done 20% last time and you will continue from 21%. It never happens anymore. If you're earning 1 crore bank balance, I'm just taking as 1 crore, and somebody dies, that 1 crore will go to the children. But there is no way in your next birth, there is an assurity that you will be a crorepati. You may be even a beggar, right? That's a fact, right? We all know it. Whereas in Bhakti, there is a guarantee where Krishna is telling that you have a great scope of becoming not necessarily here, but you can start from the point you left. Hare Krishna, you can read 6.141.
Hare Krishna, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we saw, right? And 6.42 as well.
He takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Verily, such a birth is rare in this world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So can you see this? So while you may have a group of people where we are comfortable in food, but trust me, the transcendentalists to be born there, or even in this family is actually rare. You may tell, Hare, all of us here, the whole crowd, the 100 people, the 700,000 students who registered are all coming in this family. How can you tell it's rare? Yes, it is very rare because 1 lakh children are struggling in the road for a 1 meal. Whereas we don't even think of a meal. We are absolutely scot-free, right? So therefore we are very rare. Now, why does Krishna tell all these 2 things? Not for us to know. And I mean, this is for us to know. And what made him tell all this? Because Arjuna asked this question in 6.37. What is the destination of someone who fails in achieving success in yoga? So sweet, no? Now, Arjuna has already confirmed, forget it, I'm not even doing Ashtanga Yoga. Give me a break. He's already told them. And he's already told, Arey, Bhakti Yoga is probably simpler. He started contemplating and he's made his decision. But still, he's so sweet. He's so concerned. Can you see Arjuna's move, right? There is compassion at every stage. In 4th chapter, when he said, people, I will give everything, surrender onto me, I will give. Immediately, Arjuna is asking, okay, then why do people pay demigods? To get quick results, Arjuna. Immediately, he's telling Krishna, agreed, Krishna, to get quick results they are doing, but then how will they, get purified? How will they come to you? Don't worry, Arjuna. they will automatically come. That is why I created Varnashrams. So can you see all his questions are not about for him. I mean, it's not just for him. He's so sweet that he's actually asking most questions for knowing the truth, right? For others. He's talking on behalf of us. He's a representative, right? Such a sweetness, you will get to know about Arjuna when you read this one. So this is a very beautiful story. Who is the greatest yogi? Okay, now this one, Narada is like, having this question. It's a beautiful story, and I will get to share with you all when I have time. And hopefully today I will tell you all at least one story. So now, who is the greatest yogi? This question, he goes on and on because he wants to find out, who does this? And it's a huge story where Narada has 3 buds. And when he is Narada, he just goes and asks, who is the greatest yogi? He first, thinks so many people are yogis and come one after the other. And finally, he will first go to Shiva, he will go to Brahma. I have a video clip. I mean, I have a PPT on that, and I will show you last at the end. And finally, he gets his answer. What is it? All other yogis are progression towards the destination of Bhakti Yoga. So everybody are good. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi, everybody focuses on ultimately what Bhakti Yogi. But the difference is that in every yoga, it's like a ladder. Right? And these are the ranks, right? These are the various ranks. So these are the steps in the ladder. Whereas Bhakti Yoga is like an escalator. And smart children like you are already following that. That's why you've come to Bhakti, right? One kid here said that I want to learn only pranayama, which is already started. We've started from day one starting our pranayama, right? So what happens is, we will anyway do Karma Yoga. I already told. We will, whatever we will do, we'll study, but we'll not worry about results. That was an example. But we are already doing that. We are in the journey because we are not going to give up anything, right? We are going to enjoy. Because what is the challenge is, if in giving up is very difficult. In your Ashtanga Yoga, that is one thing which is challenging because you have to give up. Whereas in our Bhakti Yoga, we don't give up anything. We add. What do we add? We add Krishna. So if I'm going to tell you all, like somebody who told I love sweets, give up sweet. Oh my God, it's so difficult. And you come and tell me, give up ice cream, I will be so mad at you. I will be so angry with you. I will not show it out, but then deep inside, I will be burning up, right? Because I love ice creams. Now, same way, I'm sure each of you will have something to like. But if you tell me, why don't you give Krishna and take? And that too, I always told you, it's a bumper offer, right? Because Krishna is not going to bite the ice cream and eat with his mouth, and my half cup ice cream will not become quarter cup. Right? It is going to be same. And in fact, it actually grows bigger, not the size, but then the opportunity of getting that will be going bigger and bigger. Therefore, following Bhakti Yoga, automatically the rest of the things are taken care of. Now, Jnana Yoga, what are you doing here? This 18 days and your journey, you've started your journey on Jnana, right? Jnana means knowledge, right? So you're already built into that. Though technically Jnanis are those who get into the concept of understanding Krishna. They do a mental speculation and search, where can I catch Krishna? Where can I catch Krishna? That is only Jnani's job. But whereas we anyway automatically built in this by understanding Krishna, not for the sake of who Krishna is, but to, see, wow, what a glory of Krishna, right? We are so excited. Okay, let me know more about Krishna, not to understand Krishna, but be excited. It's like, when you go to the first day of college, your mom and dad will expect you to tell exactly what happened the way you went for LKG. LKG, 10 hours you will spend time telling your mama, I went, my pencil broke. This girl by my side wore pink color dress with a blue color ribbon. And then she bought a thing. Maybe you don't remember, but please go ask your mom. She will tell you, right? And they expect the same thing from you now. Do you know this? How was the college? Good, mommy. Hurry, tell na. Yes or no? Do you feel that? Because my mom used to ask, my granny used to ask the same question. I entered the house, my dad used to say, I'll be so tired. I wish I have one conference room and tell, my life story. It's so tiring for us. But the fact is, it's the same college campus. They would have just dropped us right at the door. Okay. And they would have picked us up. And that 8 hours, nothing would have happened. Class also wouldn't have happened. We would have probably spent 4 hours in that in canteen, which though I did on the first day. And with all this, what will I tell them? Okay, how did I even spend 10 hours a day explaining what I did in LKG? If I think, I just don't have an answer. And these people still think that, the whole story has to be on. Same thing in MBA. MBA, I don't even know what to tell. Right? And what kind of things happens, in PG, it's more of fun, and it's actually more fun rather than studying there in college, right? So my God, what, I can't go and tell my mom, okay, this happened, that happened. A lot of other things are supposed to be secrets for us, right? So that is what is happening, right? So this is a way of life. So same way, as the parents are so eager to know what happened to us, same way we in Bhakti Yogi, the devotees want to know what Krishna did, what he did, where he did, all this, right? That is why in Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter, he starts telling, and that's why in 4th chapter also, he's talking about his qualities and purpose of coming. It's not to prove, but to tell us what we have to do. So Hare Krishna, read this.
Hare Krishna. And of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is more intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he's telling, if all the yogis who abides in me, right, worship me. So worship means devotional service, right? So here they're talking about worshiping, right? He's talking about service. You can't say I like someone and not help. Example, a friend. You say you like a friend and the friend is not feeling well. He's got high fever. Hey, don't even call her, you're busy partying. And after 1 week, hey, I was so concerned about you. We have some categories like that, which we call so-called friends. But what would you do? You will like probably check, hey, do you have? And if the friend is all by herself or himself in a college or a hostel, won't you, tell that, hey, can I get you something? Can I get you a medicine? Can I get you a soup? Yes or no? Do you say that? Do you say that? Because we will do that, right? And we will expect that. Why do we do that? Because that is service. Does it mean you're a servant for a friend? You're a PA for a friend? You're just going to a medical shop? You're buying it, you're couriering it, you're making soup, you're a cook for a friend. No, it means you love that friend, right? So love means service. You want to be there for the person. You would love to spend that 8 hours for the friend rather than partying. Even if you're partying, even if you're college, there is one part of your mind constantly thinking, hey, maybe this friend of mine should be fine. I hope the fever has not gone up. Some part of your mind will always grab you, even if you have the most important farewell party. And even if you have to be present there, your mind will be constantly, thinking over there. That is service, right? So if you tell you love Krishna, it means that you should serve Krishna. So that is what actually worship means. But what happens most of the time, you go to the temple and tell, hey Krishna, I want this. Oh Krishna, I want that. Hey Krishna, you're so bad. You gave me 80 marks, but that girl got 85%. So mean of you. How much I studied? She studied only 5 hours. I studied 8 hours. And she's such a bad person. I'm so good. I'm giving you every day 2 flowers. Oh my God, yeah, I'm the biggest devotee. I pray him so much. I put such big bhakti, what do you call vibhutis and kumkums and all that. She doesn't have anything. She's so plain like Radhika. She doesn't even keep a bindi on her head. And you call her a devotee. Horrible, huh? And she's getting everything. This is how we all think. So that is complaint. And the next thing is, okay, Krishna, and many times this happens with the Devatas, hey, I'm going to give you 108 coconuts. Just make sure that I get marks, okay? I'm bribing you. Trust me, I'm bribing you. I'm used to this because this is my way of life and business also. We bribe people. We get stuck with our uncle in the road, whom we call as a policeman. And, and if I'm stuck for license, I pay 100 rupees. I think currently it's 500 rupees also. I don't know what is the situation. So now, oh my God, now it's burst. They will cancel my license. Now the rate has become 1,000 rupees. So I have to keep 1,000 rupees in my pocket to get away from being stamped. Yes or no? So we are used to that concept. So we can't be blamed. And it is taught to us. Today is my birthday. What should I do? Let's do Archana. In whose name? My name. Oh God, I should be fine. Give me money, give me wealth, give me this. This is what is happening. Okay. So this is what happens every time. And you don't follow, what do they tell in the house? Hey, God will poke your eye. Oh my God. Is God such a big savage that you don't pray him? He's going to take a knife and poke, right? All this, happens. And it happened to me, trust me, I speak Telugu. So in our family, there is a tradition that in Saturday nights, everybody eats tiffin. Tiffin means like dosa, chapati, they don't eat rice. We normally are used to 2 meals a day, which is rice. And, my aunt was telling me, and for a long time, I still do take rice only because I'm not a very tiffin-y person. And nowhere in Shastras, it is written that you have to take tiffin. It's just, again, a mental concoction. But my aunt was telling me, hey, you know what? Aren't you, because Balaji, Venkatesh is a deity, family deity. Won't they come and punish you because you're taking rice? I was thinking, oh my God, does Krishna have no work? He will maintain a list. All people on Saturday nights who are all taking tiffin. Very good. You're taking rice. Shortlist all of them. I'm going to punish you. You think he has no better work? He's such a sadist. No, when I was telling her, she said, yeah, you're right. In that case, he has to punish a lot of people ahead of you who would have done bad. Hurry, why ahead of me? Eating rice is not a crime. Now, all this around me made me feel I should understand Vedas to really understand what's wrong, what's right. Yeah, that's so nice. Yes, Mihir. It's like business. God, I will give you money and you remove my problem. Yeah, that's true. That's also true. I see a lot of them who do that also, right? So various kinds of strategies which are there. So what is yoga, spiritual practice? So today we're talking so much about yoga. And after this, I'm going to show you today Saturday, right? So I'm assuming you'll have a little more time. I'm going to show you how Goloka Vrindavan is looking. So let's go to different yoga practices for different yugas. Right? So this is said in Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Kate yadhyayato vineyu tretaya yajato mako dvapare paricharyaya kalo tad darike tenai kirtane. Hare Krishna. So what is he talking about? He's talking about the 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwarpa Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So the first thing it talks about, what did he do, right, in the various yugas. So Satya Yuga, basically dhyanas and all that. So they used to do that. And Treta Yuga, what they did. So each of them were very elaborate processes. And when we talk about dhyana, it's not like meditation, hours, years, because their lives used to be 10,000 to 1 lakh. So they used to go on into deep dhyana, which is meditation for hours together, right? And Treta Yuga, they did what's called the yagnas. Yajanto, you basically yagnas, right? Huge fire sacrifices, so many sacrifices they did. The quantity of ghee and all that were so exotic, you can't even think of all that. You may think, yes, I'm doing yoga, I'm doing, this yagna. When I'm having graha pravas at home, I do what? For 1 hour. That's not the yagnas. It's like they used to do for hours and years together. And what happens in Dwarpa Yuga? Dwarpa Yuga talks about something else. What does Dwarpa Yuga talk about? They believe in temple worship. And what do they do in temple worship? In temple worship, they used to actually do elaborate temple worships, right? They had various processes of temple worship. They used to pray deities. They used to have, elaborate processes, and they used to have excellent boha. It's a very, very huge process, and temple worship was very exotic and very detailed, unlike now. So do we have time for all this? Can you all go to temple every day and spend 10, 12 hours for a temple worship? We can't even go for 5 minutes, that apart. So what is it we can do? Kali Yuga talks about Sankirtan. That is, we will go ahead and do Kirtan, Naam Sankirtan. And who has given this? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is what, right? Satya Yuga, meditation on Vishnu. This is extensive sacrifices. And Dwarpa Yuga, very clearly, this is what I said. Treta Yuga, performing sacrifices. And Dwarpa Yuga also is just elaborate temple worship. And finally, we are going into Kali Yuga, where you chant the holy names of Krishna. Why? Because we can go into, we are all intelligent people. We don't believe in staircases. We use only lift, right? Let's say that 1 floor, 2 floor, you'll do exercise. But if you have to travel, let's say 25 floors, what would you prefer? Would you take the stairs or would you take the lift? What would you take? Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. All intelligent children, right? So all of us are jumping into the lift, right? So that is what we should do. And that is only Ma Mantra. So what is Ma Mantra? Mantra. So now we will get into the Ashtanga Yoga, which we want to follow. So let's get in there, right? What is mantra? Mantra is man plus tra, which is the mind, right? So what is it mantra actually does? So what is each one actually trying to do? So this is what we are going to actually see today as to what are all the things which mantra is going to take care of. So now let's start our continuation of what mantra it is and whom do we meditate on. So man means mind, right? And tra means trayate, deliver, right? Trayate means please deliver. So we tell something for Krishna to deliver us. So what is a japa? When you sing loud for another person to hear, musically it becomes kirtan. And japa is something where you tell and you only hear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now I am telling loud for you to hear, but normally I don't tell at that level, right? What is Sankirtan? All of you join together, Sangam, right? The way we do Sankirtan, every day we chant together, right? So why are we reading these scriptural references? Why do we do all this? It is only for the purpose of enhancing our quality of chanting, right? So why what is this reference and what does it talk about. So we already read this one, right? The purpose of this. In the age of Kali, people should simply chant the holy name. That is the only answer, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So what does it say? Iti no chaka nama Kali kalmana nachana nato parata ro payo. Just 1 second. Right? Sarva Vedenu Dachyate. So it is in Kali Santarvesi Upanishad. So basically there are many Upanishads. So difficult to pronounce the names also of these Upanishads, and all of them say it is important. So in Chaitanya Adi Leela, what does it say? This is easier and simpler. Hare Nama Nameva Kevalam Kalo Nasti Eva Gatir Anyate. So there is no other thing. So let's see the meaning, right? So he says there is nothing except chanting the holy name. So what does the Srimad Bhagavatam say? That also tells that there is nothing beyond chanting the holy name, right? Simply by chanting the holy name, all that you get is more. Now, what does Bhagavad Gita tell? 10.25. So, okay, so he is very clearly told that. So it is a part of Bhagavad Gita 10.25. It says, Yajayana Japa Yajio Asmi. So of all the sacrifice, I am the chanting of the holy name. So what happened in chanting is, when you chant, the power of Krishna is so sweet that he is dancing in your mouth. He comes because their name and form of Krishna is not different. Now, I, Radhika, is different from the person Radhika, right? This is my name. But when it comes to Krishna, there is no difference. So when you tell Krishna, Krishna is there. So when you tell Krishna, it automatically comes. That is why they say, in any form you tell Krishna, funnily, Adha Narayana, okay, or angrily, Krishna, or you tell, all that scolding, also many of them use the names, right? They even tell, oh my God, he's Saryana Rama. All this also automatically gets credits, because actually Krishna is coming there and sitting in the name. So that is why they say any form of using the name, funnily, whimsically, or for fun, all of that give complete credits, is what it says. Hare Krishna, you can read.
Hare Krishna. My Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity, and therefore you have many names such as Kaneya and Govinda. You have invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna. So beautifully said. So many times you will tell for fun also, for us we used to tell, since I'm Telugu, we used to tell, if you lose something, okay, forget it, gone, Govinda, we tell. I don't know if you all are familiar with that stand. We use it very ironically. So why do they do that? And why do they give names of the children or, in the family as the God's name? Because you have the tendency to keep calling the name. And as you call out the name, it becomes very good. So yesterday I told you all, and I also shared a video on how to chant. So what do we do? Do's of chanting. So first you chant the Panchatattva mantra before starting the chanting. So Panchatattva mantra, what is it, Panchatattva mantra? It's this which we do every day in the morning. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So Shri Krishna Chaitanya is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came 500 years ago. And Prabhu Nityananda is Nityananda Prabhu, who is none but who Balrama. Shri Advaita Gadadara, so Advaita Acharya, right? Are all people who have come, Narada, and also another one is Shiva, who has come in, for saving us. Gadadara is Radharani. So these are the people, the combinations of Brahma, Narada, and Vishnu, Balrama, and, our Radharani, who have come to save us. In depth, one day I'll tell you each characters. So how should we do? We should chant audibly, loud enough for us to hear. It's not like Hare Krishna, not required. You can just say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Loud enough for us to hear and pronounce clearly. Don't tell Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna. Don't do that fast forward motion. Clearly pronounce Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. With respect and concentrate when you're telling. What you talk, your mouth should talk, your ears should hear. That's it. Don't even imagine, don't even think of Krishna when you're doing. right? You will only speak and do. Now, what are we doing in Ashtanga Yoga? We are doing concentration and meditation. You saw, right? Dhyana and Dharana, both are taken care. You can chant in any place. That's a bumper offer. You can sit in your balcony, you can sit in your chair, you can sit on the bed, you can even sit on the washroom. So that is the thing, you can face any direction because chanting has no place, no time. Again, now time is addressed. You can chant anytime. Though Brahma Muhurt, which is 3:30 a.m. onwards, is recommended, any time of the day is fine. You can chant in the middle of the night also, right? That's an advantage because when you do temple worship, there are specific times. Here you can chant. Now, one more very favorite point for us, right? You can chant before bath or after bath. Nothing, temple and all, mama will kill us if you go without bath. Here, you can chant anywhere. And it's always recommended keep a count, right? So you keep a count and, Tulsi Mala we use, and it has certain regulations. So best is to use a normal mala, which is available in ISKCON. I think it's 30 rupees or 50 rupees. Also, you can, if you don't have, you can even use the pearl beads, right? Which is at home. So that is also a great point. So do's of chanting. So these are the things which are available. One should not chant only a portion of the mantra. What are they telling? When you do one round, yesterday I taught you, you don't tell Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and move to the next. Hare Rama, no. You do one complete chanting in the entire circle. So that is what it means, right? So let me just quickly take my chanting bead and you can relate it as and when we are talking, right? So we are talking about this one, right? So this one I was telling you, you do fully Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare. You don't do half. That's one mistake which we'll tend to do. Right? Now don't. So this is called the Krishna bead and you do not chant on that. So when you finish one complete round and come here, you don't go cross over it. You turn it and do. I'll share this video also, which we recorded yesterday. Don't do multitasking. No watching mobile, no watching TV, newspaper and doing. I always used to tell many of the time, we had one person. So I have an uncle who used to ask me, I always feel I don't read newspaper, but I just used to glance at the paper. I just glance, but I don't read. Okay. I just see the heading. Okay. So I asked him one question. You count money. Do you glance at the newspaper when you count money? 1, 2, 3, 4, glance at the paper. No. I need undivided attention money because one note I leave, forget it. Oh my God. Even if it's a 10 rupee bundle, right? Yes or no? Then won't Krishna need at least that much attention which you're giving to money? At least that much? Yes or no, kids? Can I have some yeses in the group for my sake? Thank you. Now I'm asking you all for it. Hare Krishna. So you need to give undivided attention, right? So no multitasking. Benefits of chanting. Now we need all this. What is the main benefit of chanting and what's the purpose? So that we are freed from all the reactions of sin. So whatever we have done in the past, right? And now don't tell me, I'm so good, I've not done a single mistake in my entire life. Yeah, thank you so much, Alishri. Thank you, Tanya. So sweet. It's easier to understand. I always feel they keep, I don't know why they tell the college kids and the school, high school kids don't listen. I totally am against it because I feel the most obedient block is that they are the ones who actually listen. The problem is they are not told in the right way. I've always felt the elders sometimes don't listen because they are already stuck. They are predetermined with certain notions and they won't listen first because they don't want to change the notions. Anyone agreeing to this? And I hope there is no speaker and CCTV in your house and they will throw me out, right? You're not getting me in trouble, I hope. So you agree, right? I have a feeling, only thing is the youngsters, they're not informed in the right way. And old elders don't give up their way, right? They just want to stick to the point. As I tell you, the point may be absolutely wrong, but still they don't even hear whether there's a possibility of they being wrong. That's the issue. So now I want to know, is there anyone in this group who has never committed a sin? Any one person can tell. Yeah, I totally agree. There's absolutely no proper guidance for the students. And now let's get into this. Is there anybody who says, I have never done any sin? Unknowingly also. Right? Because we would have consciously not done a sin, but there's a possibility when you're walking, you would have killed an ant. Yes or no? Which is a fact. Now the ant will have children. You've made family orphans. We may laugh at it, but we have done a lot of sins. Actually, knowingly also, I've done a lot of sins. I don't know about you all, but unknowingly, I don't know the limit, right? So many we have done. Right? So for every sin we do, there is a huge, true way. Some sins are unknown. So when you're driving and you suddenly close and you kill a person in the road and you tell, hey, I just did it unknowingly, will the law leave? No, but unfortunately, same way here. Yes, the punishments are lower, but a sin done unknowingly does not in any law tell that you're forgiven. Example, you touch fire, whether a child touches unknowingly or you touch, it's going to burn. Now you cannot claim, the child is chotu, yaar, it doesn't know, yaar, how the hell fire can you burn it? No, because it's nature. Same way, if you're doing a sin, unknowingly also you are going to take an impact, right? So what is happening? So anybody who wants to, when I took this session, I had few teenagers who actually told that, we've done some sins. And we went to the next level of reading mistakes in the hellish planets, right? And this is there in the 5th chapter, 5th canto, Bhagavatam, 26th chapter. Okay, hellish planets, we got very inquisitive. And I asked them, can you tell me the kind of mistakes? They told, please find out, what mistake we have done, we'll confess. It's like a confession story. So one came up with the story. And I was very curious, I was trying to look up. So what was that story is one kid came and told me, I stole an eraser when I was in class LKG or UKG. So then when I read, there was an exclusion clause which said that below 5 years not counted. So I said, "Arey kid, you're not counted, go." So another kid came and told, yesterday I was telling, right, I don't copy, but then I know this answer, but then it's here, it's just here, it's not coming out. So I just had a glance, but I didn't copy it. Okay. Now that kid came and told me, hey, actually, that also comes into the category of copying only. Actually, we know, but we don't want to accept, right? So that, what punishment? So I also was reading. I didn't find a punishment at all. So we were trying to categorize until today, we've not found punishment. So what happens is children are so naive, right? The mistakes we have done are so tiny, but we remember. But you go to somebody who's like 40 or 50 or 60 and you ask them, what mistake have you done? Me? Never. I have never done a single mistake, And most of the times I have noticed when I take the adult batch, they come and tell, no, I have not done any mistake. How is it possible? Your entire life, you have not done a single mistake. And by telling I have never done a mistake, you're making one more mistake, which is lying. And I never had a chance to tell this on the face to them, but deep inside, I've always felt it. If you're telling that you've never done a mistake in your entire life, it means that you're lying because that is a mistake you've done on spot, right? So for all this, you have in chapter, as I said, Canto 5, chapter 26 has completely hellish planets. So let's not, you can go and read for your convenience, but whatever it is, let's forget it. And what we do is we play this Nama, Hare Nama, because it cleans away all the mistakes done. Like your antibiotic kills all the viruses which are already there. Relief from unwanted drives and habits, right? So we are used to a lot of this, like smoking, drinking and all that. You don't need to give away because, as I told, you're not doing the sannyasi practice. But when you start chanting, automatically you will start hating a lot of wrong things. You're free from anxiety and stress because automatically you get a feeling deep inside. It's like a concentrated meditation where you know for a fact Krishna is taking care. So these are not the focus areas, but these are like the byproducts, supplement, automatically you get. You drink milk, what happens? Immediately your hunger is taken care, right? Immediately. That's why you drink milk. But also it nourishes your vital, your nerves, your tissues, your brain tissues get help. You get a lot of calcium. These are the products, but your focus may be just to drink milk because you're hungry, right? So that is what happens. So here the focus could be to get mukti, but what you get peace of mind, you get real happiness, you get enlightenment. Trust me, people just dance when they chant. It's really a progress for having realization of God because you're giving food for soul. And I'm not saying this, George Harrison. I'm not going to tell you who is because you all know. Everything started happening for me when I began chanting. Who's saying this? So can we hear Hare Krishna? So who is this? So are these names familiar to each one of you? Right? Jean-Claude, I thought for a second it's Jean-Claude Van Damme, but no, it's Jean-Claude Halice, a youngest director of the 3M Inclusion France. He's 29 years. Okay, and he is saying it's important. Chanting the Hare Krishna has made a tremendous impact in my life. Who is he? Anybody knows Ford Company? I should be asking, anyone does not know. Albert Rushford, right? Owner of Ford Motors. He says that. Hare Krishna. Question answers I'm seeing, but I will reply at the end. Hare Krishna. I've been chanting Hare Krishna for many years and I have never found anything more pleasurable. ND Desai, leading industrialist, GE Group. Chanting Hare Krishna has helped me face all the ups and downs in my life with a great confidence and peace of mind. Rishikesh, Mafatlal Company, right? She's a very good model and she's been earning a lot of money in. And she came in the cover page and she look at her how she was doing modeling and she gave up and she joined Hare Rama and she in fact changed her style and she look at her face, she's more calm, she's so happy and she says, chanting helped me to give up bad habits. It changed my vision of things. Here, we don't really have too many abominable activities, but, when Prabhupada went to, hippies, the hippie community, you won't even feel like sitting next to them. There are days, many days when they won't take bath. They have all qualities which you can't even think of, including highest level of drugs, addiction and all that. They were, imagine, they found some great happiness that they were willing to give up all of it. So won't there be something which is more happy, which we have not experienced? So this Dutch model is Anne Schaufus. So what does she say? By starting to chant Hare Krishna, I feel tremendous. Vicky Overrun, leading European model. My outlook towards life is a lot more brighter after starting to associate with Hare Krishna devotees and chanting the Maha Mantra. Who is he? He's an army officer, Bruce Kleinberg. Can you believe an army officer who is very principled, thinking of something very different? Chanting makes me feel more close to God. Marco Ferrini, Italy's top furniture designer. Maha Mantra significantly reduces stress, depression, and mode of ignorance, and considerably increases mode of goodness. David Wolf, Master of Social Service Program at Florida State University, research for studying the effects of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. When I'm stressed out, I chant. It's one thing which charges my battery, it clears my mind, and brings me back and forth. Paul Blainer, printing executive. When nervous, I find chanting very calming. I don't get shaken up at little things. See, all this. Mr. Sally, merchandiser. Chanting Hare Krishna and reading authorized books on Krishna consciousness has brought me great peace. Who's he? Ramesh Lal, Toronto Health Spa proprietor. So imagine, you can also chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So do you understand what it is? And trust me, when, let me share my experience. Someone had asked me on WhatsApp. I never used to chant earlier because I never knew what chanting was, just like you all. And what happened is when my Shiksha Guru, my teacher, told me, chanting is so good and my day is not complete. And initially I tried chanting. Half the round was so difficult. I used to be so thirsty. I used to feel breathless. And it was a huge task. But now, the 16 rounds, I automatically get up without even an alarm by 3:45. I finish my 16 rounds even before I do anything, even before class, right? And for me, I used to do exercise. I used to do all of these practices earlier. And I still do exercise and all. But when I do all of that, I used to feel very tired. I can't even talk. But now after chanting, I feel I have so much energy. I talk now. And besides this, I also do another adult batch at 9:30, which they told me to substitute. Looks like I will be a permanent substitute. And after that also, like the whole day, I have to go, I work. So the whole day is working and all that. And the whole day is filled. And still there is so much energy. Yes, I start feeling a little sleepy after 8:30, my eyes like dozes off. But we try and stretch up and then sleep by 9:30, 10, max 10:30. So what am I telling is, I used to be sleeping a lot, or I'm not a sleeper, but then even if I take a lot of rest, I used to feel very tired. But now after chanting, I feel so energetic. And I am not a reader, but I enjoy reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Daily I read, we have few people who sit and, we read in Zoom. It's so nice, it's like story in the morning. And why am I telling this is don't miss. It's a great opportunity. If you have not read Srimad Bhagavatam, you are missing something in life. And I always tell this. So all of you, this is one great point. And with this, I want to tell you that we have learned yoga, we've learned Bhakti Yoga, and we are building all of it. So, but that way, we will be very happy. Now it's given us all solutions, right? With this, I end this session and we will continue our question answers and I will show you Golokachar. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So there are lots of questions. I will take the questions before I move to Goloka chart. We have time, 10 minutes. I will show you the Goloka chart. So I will start the questions. Hare Krishna. So some of the questions, let me start. The first question, which I missed yesterday, day before, is what, and some of those whom I missed the earlier questions, you can type in the chat. One question, is there any difference between Hari and Hare? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna means energy of Krishna. And Hari means the name of Krishna. So energy of Krishna is Radharani. So when you tell Hare, it means Hare Krishna means we are talking about energy of Krishna. That is what it is, Hare Krishna. Okay. So that is one. So I hope one question I answered. So one more question here we have from, who is, okay. Is there a possibility from Mihir question, Hare Krishna? Is it possible that some people who are saint from childhood may not have done mistake? Mihir, knowingly may not be, but unknowingly every one of us do mistake. The moment we accept, then it's fine. Some mistake, knowingly, especially people who are saintly and who believe you have to do good, land up doing mistakes. I'll tell you why. Sometimes you have two people, you have to handle one person. So in the intention of taking care of one person, you may actually unknowingly do harm to another person. So somewhere or the other, you will hit the shoe, right? And many times you will see people trying to do more mistakes when they want to please more people. So I hope I've answered your question, Mihir, and let me unmute so that you can unmute yourself. Hare Krishna. Is your question answered? Thank you, Mihir. Hare Krishna. Someone has asked, please send 5 and 6 PDFs. Yes, we will send. I think it was already sent, but I will resend this. Hare Krishna. 6 we'll send after the class. Hare Krishna. Is there any other question? Hare Krishna. Neetu, you had a couple of questions.
Yeah. So yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. There was one more question which was left unanswered yesterday. So how can we get rid of past karmas?
Thank you so much for bringing that question up. Now you have the answer. So what happens is, it's a very advanced topic, but in one line, there are karmas which are broadly 2 categories, manifested and unmanifested. What do you mean by manifested? Manifested is something where you are experiencing, my window open. Manifested is something which you are, where the results are immediately come. Example, you are punished. I have fever, I have cold, I have chronic ailments. Why all of this are coming? Because I am going through a lot of problem now, right? I am facing a lot of things now. Why? It's because of past karma. And to extend this question, you may have that the karma of the previous janma now, or even this janma will I get. There is no immediate answer, right? If your karmas can be burnt off now, it will come as a solution. But actually speaking, just to give a liner on karma, so all the karmas which are there, even at a seed level, which means like a bijam, right? It's at a very seedling stage. Or the karmas which are like huge bags, right? Which is going to hit, all the karmas get wiped away. But the karmas which are already manifested, right? There will be some karma which is already there, like a, fever or something which is there. That, is also getting wiped, but the impact of that will already start seeing. Like, for example, you already have a viral fever. The moment I take the Japamala and chant, it doesn't mean today the viral fever will stop. You have to go through that. Hare Krishna. I hope I've answered that question. And please go ahead with the next question also, Neetu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, that was the only unanswered question from the math session. Yeah.
Sure. Do you want to read the questions in the chat so that I can answer with the names of whoever has asked?
Okay, so there is another question from Raktima Mataji. Ma'am, some people call Radharani Supreme and some calls Rukmini Mata Supreme, while a lot of them call them to be the same as they are avatars of Lakshmi Mata. Which one is correct?
Okay, Hare Krishna. Everything is correct. So everything is correct. So Radharani is the internal potency of Krishna. Krishna's internal energy is only Radharani, right? It is also called Kladini Shakti, right? Where she's also called the pleasure potency. So to answer, Radharani is the one who gives maximum happiness to Krishna because it is unconditional love, right? So the love of gopis as well as Radharani is highest, and we are going to see that in Goloka Vrindavan, right? In the Goloka chart, which I will show now. So that is one. And a lot of these goddess Lakshmi are all expansions of Radharani only, and they are called wives, Dwaraka, right? They have a right. So now you have to tell me something. I'm confident there are not many married people here. Are there anyone married in the group can relate better? Whom will you like more, your girlfriend or your wife? Okay. Okay. Now even unmarried you people can answer. Come on. Right. So that is the difference, because with a girlfriend, there is no commitment, or boyfriend, whomever, right? So what happens here is there is no commitment. Commitment in the sense there is unconditional love in the actual sense of understanding. Today, it's more of a nuisance. That's a different thing because we are materially connected. But in the spiritual world, what happens is Radharani is mad of Krishna and is so much happy and willing to do everything. So much that Krishna cannot understand how much happiness Radharani is getting from serving me. To understand that mood of Radharani, he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years back, because he wants to understand what is it that the devotees are getting. I am happy that devotees are for me, but what happiness do they get? Because I need to enjoy that happiness. So he is born and comes himself as a devotee and takes the color of Radharani, because she's the greatest devotee, to understand what happiness they are getting, because Krishna is missing that. The happiness of the devotee is more than what Krishna is enjoying himself. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. Hare Krishna. I hope I've answered your question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Another question from Ajushri Mataji. Every time it is not possible to carry mala everywhere. So at that time, can we count on fingers?
Okay, Hare Krishna. I used to count only on fingers to start with, but then trust me, I felt counting on mala is much better and easier because of two reasons. One is, they say normally if you can control one sense itself, your concentration increases. Now by doing this, your mouth you're speaking, ears you're listening, you're even watching your mala sometimes, and then you're chanting, right? So what happens? You're actually engaging 3-4 senses. So your concentration is higher, one. Second is, totally when you can't carry your mala everywhere, you can chant, but the actual chanting is not even with fingers, because when you use your fingers, you concentrate on your finger count, right? So you can tell, but your counting of mala has 108, the beads. So the 108 bead is called one mala, and that it's best you do. So you can start with one round, because one round takes 5.5 minutes in the beginning, maximum 7-8 minutes. So, can you give one round, that's 7 minutes to start with in a day. And later we increase, 16 rounds takes us about 1.5 hours. So you will reach a stage where, 1.5 hours is okay to give. So that time you can do. You don't need to start with 16 rounds. You can start with one round. Is that fine? Hare Krishna. You can unmute yourself if, you have a challenge or you want to acknowledge. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Next question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So next question is from Shubham Mataji. Why are we getting Krishna's mercy for free? We don't have any qualifications, and further, we are all sinful beings. Hare Krishna.
So sweet. Who answered this question? Unmute. I'm hearing for the first time someone telling this. I've told that I do so much for Krishna. I do so much. I love him so much. I'm so happy you're so realized. I'm very grateful and thankful for this realization. Hare Krishna. Very happy to hear this kind.
Mataji, actually, I am in train traveling and listening.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so actually he is on the train. He found us a word. Yeah.
No problem. I'll answer your question. Let me give because thank you. So what is happening is, let's take your parents also as an example, right? They will have 2 children. They may be angry with the child who's not studying well, or who's dumb, or who's arrogant. But do they disown the child? Do they throw the child out and tell, get lost? I just don't need you anymore. Have you ever seen parents doing it? At least mother. There are situations when father, at least out of anger, has told, get out of my house. But I have never seen, mostly, there could be exceptions, but normally you'll never see a mom telling, you have not studied, don't even show me your face, get out. Maybe for a moment as an anger, but they won't mean. Do you agree? I mean, if you have exceptional mothers, I'm sorry, but then normally they don't, right? So why am I telling this is because same way Krishna loves you so much, so much. You're absolutely right. It's not you, it's not me. None of us deserve to be loved, right? But he doesn't abandon us. He tries. And that is why we are telling, we will come here and we will understand a lot of this in the coming chapters. He's telling that I am in your heart as Paramatma. We are telling, Bhaga, I don't want to get lost. I want to come and enjoy the way you are only enjoying here. He says, okay, I'll give you spiritual, I'll give you a material world. And then you're telling, I don't want it. I want some very nice things to happen. What is a nice thing? I want freedom. I want independence. Okay, I'll give you. But I'm scared to leave you alone. I will come as Paramatma. I will tell you occasionally when you make mistake, but I won't influence you. Your decision is final, but I just want to be there. I won't even watch over you until you ask me. I won't even show my existence. That is the greatness of him. He is just there, right? And we can see him when you start feeling him, when you accept him. Hare Krishna. I hope I've answered your question. I'm trying hard. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The next question is from Tanya Mataji. So her question is, are some of our dreams has glimpses of our past life? Do we see sometimes our past life in our dreams, or it's just our mind?
Okay, very nice. There are 4 things which come in the dream, right? One is, sickness. So whatever is your fear or sickness, which is there in your subconscious or in your body comes, right? Which is true. Second is ghost. Sometimes you get, thing because somewhere, you have fear of ghosts and these things come. Third is snake, which comes in. And fourth is God, which is very rare. So if anyone has got God in your dream, then it's very rare. It means, you're lucky. And so read on it. But anything other than that, right, are largely reflection of fears. Your subconscious fear, what your eye sees, all these are what is captured in dream. And this is said even psychologically. So dreams are there. Now, it may or may not be a part of your past life, but that's something which I can't tell concrete. But déjà vu, right? Already. Déjà vu is a French term, which means already. So it means that you will come across a situation where a particular perfume or a place, all of us will experience this. You already know it so well, right? So well that you know what is next, what is coming in, right? Is what people normally tell, is from your previous life. But dreams not necessarily should be a previous life. It could also be present. So it's very hard to tell. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The next question is from Hanspal Prabhuji. So he's asking, how can I be more patient while learning a new skill?
Hare Krishna. So patience you will need for everything, not necessarily for learning, but I totally agree. Learning is very difficult. You have been very patient. If you realize, we all have been very patient, because if anyone asks me, which is your toughest learning in your entire life, I would say LKG. You may laugh at me. Today, LKG seems easy, but can you understand at 3 years, I don't know how to hold a pencil, right? There is absolutely no coordination of my hand and my mind. And in the house, we speak Telugu, so I don't know what an A means also. And, I have to hold the pencil and I write some alphabet, which I don't understand what it is. And I have 3 people teaching me to do something which I don't like. Don't you think that I am going through the biggest trauma in my life at the age of 3? Yes or no? And and when I say I, it means all of us have patiently tolerated. If you can succeed your LKG, holding a pencil, totally patiently doing all that, then you can succeed learning anything. So to answer your question in one line, you will get patience automatically if you start chanting for the patience you want. And this is something which you want, right? You want to be patient. It's very easy. You just are telling Krishna, and Krishna automatically understands as you're chanting, and patience will be, as I said, a byproduct of your chanting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So the next question is from Meher Prabhuji. So his question is, do we get punishment of our past birth in present life?
Yes, so that is only karma, no? So whatever mistakes we have done, we have the account to be settled. So definitely our punishments are not only carried out of the past to the present life for many births. I will tell you an example of Mahabharata where Duryodhana father, right, Dhritarashtra, was born blind and he lost his 100 children. It's very cruel. He may be a bad person. I'm not getting there. But it happened, right? Why? Because 100 years back, right, what happened? for him, I will tell you, not 150 years ago, he, actually killed and he also lost the, of a bird, all the kids, actually died. And what happened is there was a curse, and therefore with every birth he had to gain punya. So every birth with punya, he managed to get one child. Like that, he had to pass so many births, right? So like literally 100, not even 50, 100 births, he got credits. He added credits, and then, it was stopped. So sometimes you take not just one birth, many births, because to get something, you need to have punya. To lose something, you would have done papa. So you need to earn that to lose it also. You may tell it's not worth it, but that's how the law works, right? So it's like a loan. You have a loan of, let's say, 100 rupee, and you are a pauper. What will you do? You have to earn. So get 20 rupees, you have to pay that loan, right? You will tell, not fair, I don't have money, but you don't have a choice. So that's the same way. So this is your karma is also on rent. So you have to borrow your good credits to set off your bad credits. One does not get adjusted. I'm just giving this as an example. For the good credits, you enjoy. For the bad credits, you suffer. It's not like a bank balance technically. This is just one example for you to understand. Yes. Why? Because God gives a lot of scope for us to correct. Example, you have a Mahamantra. Can you fix it? Yes, you can. But do we do it? No. If a karma has to have immediate thing, I'll tell you how it will be. I don't like this mosquito. It's torturing me. I kill it. The child of the mosquito is so angry. It tells, no, Radhika killed it. He has to die. A sword will come from here and Fatala should die the next second without even understanding anything. Is that right? If it happens immediately, as I'm teaching, I kill a mosquito, my karma should chop me off. Not right? That is why, you have accounts held for a while so that you have chance of fixation and remedies. Hare Krishna, which we call Prayachitta, which is inbuilt in Mahamantra. Hare Krishna. I hope I've answered.
Hare Krishna Mataji, we have another question from Shubham Prabhuji. So once we start getting mercy of Krishna, then how to absorb it to the fullest and further advance for more mercy? Because by sanskar, our tendency is to fall in ignorance again and again.
Hare Krishna, such a beautiful question.
Yeah.
So the one solution is you don't leave two things. One is your japa, right? So you're holding Krishna tightly. And next is sadhu sangha, which means devotee association. When do you fall into ignorance? Like I was talking to you about a story of a friend. She used to keep darshan, she used to do all tilaks, she used to go to temple, clean temple, and she used to preach her friends, right? Oh, I don't believe in God. God is not great. It's just a myth. My mom is torturing, so I did all of it. And the fact of it is, her mom was never there in school, but she used to keep the tilak the whole day. She could rub it off, right? So the point is, why am I telling is your sangha is a very important influencing factor. It is absolutely important that your association is with the right person. And I never understood it better until now, because I used to tell, how will friends influence? But yes, they influence, which is why it is important that you have devotee association. And after level 1, we will ensure that you don't fall in the mode of ignorance, because we are going to send you an invite for level 2, and all of it, our admin Neetu is going to explain on Monday. And you can clearly see there and upgrade yourself. And it also, we will have, besides taking you to the next level of teaching you Bhagavad Gita, nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction, Ishopanishad, we will also group you into small circles called Bhakti Vriksha study group circle. So this is not like studying for exam, but this is like more like reading, telling each other, and you can connect and you can grow from level 2 to level 3, level 3 to level 4. It's more like a buddy group. Right? We have buddy friends group. So this is more of a buddy group, and we call it Sadhu Sangha group, or you call it Bhakti Vriksha subgroups. And you can continue your journey. And therefore, if you're falling in the mode of ignorance, someone will tell you, hey, don't do it, don't fall. So that way it will help. That is why the first step, we talk about Shraddha, which is faith, right? And next is Sadhu Sangha, which means that you will form a committee of your own like-minded devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So Hare Krishna Mataji, so that was the last question we had on the chat, which I could see. If you can check whether you got any private questions.
Also. Okay. So there is one direct message, just 1 second. Why we are getting Krishna, okay, that I think she has put in the group also. And for, so yeah, that's come in the group also. That's also nice. Hare Krishna. I can be more patient. I think most of the messages are copied in the group also. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. All this, we will end the session So Hare Krishna. And will we have time for Goloka chart, or do you want me to take it tomorrow? I'll leave it to you all. I will need 10 minutes for the Goloka chart. Do you want me to take it tomorrow or today? You can, chat is open, you all can type in. Tomorrow? Okay. So we'll do the Goloka chart tomorrow, and we'll talk about Krishna also tomorrow. And the chat, I will WhatsApp you the recordings of the chanting. PDF for chapter 5, we'll check again. And you do. Dia, if you're already attending level 2, you don't need to re-register. You can just continue. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yeah. So we'll end this session. As you know that, thank you so much, Mataji. Such amazing. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. I'm so happy you all are listening. And today is the 6th day. So we will chant how many times? Now come on, 6 into 5. What is 6 into 6? 36 times, right? And now what we will do is we will play the Prabhupada's music so that it becomes easy for us to chant with his own tone. Neetu, will you be able to screen share Prabhupada's one round? Because we can play one full round completely from today. And after 30, 36 times chanting, you all can exit. Will you be able to screen share?
Mataji, just give me a minute. I have to locate the link.
Yeah. Sure. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. I'm also very happy you all are locating. Yeah, I've got max professors here, 36. So we can all now, where do you get your Japamala? You can buy online, right? We have a package also where we give Bhagavad Gita, these books, everything costing 600 rupees. It is already in the settings. It's updated in the settings and the team will share. The only request I have is please go ahead and, pass this knowledge. You all were asking how to do Nishkama Karma Yoga. This is the best way to start. You don't have to expect results, but forward this, youth teaching to all your friends, relatives, and all of them. And then, we can take it to the next level. So that will be extremely good. Hare Krishna. Neetu, you can actually take it from Google also. If you just put Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, I'm just trying from Google.
Sure. No problem. And, for all those who need to know where the books are, I can show you meanwhile. Neetu, if you found it, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. So all of you can read the soft copy book from Veda Base. Let's just put.
Mataji, I am getting the 16 rounds one.
No, that's okay. 16 rounds one you can play. We can stop it after that.
Okay, just a moment. Let me just try. I'll stop recording the class.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Okay, Hare Krishna.